so I'm gonna go watch Bleed for This.
They said it was just gonna be an easy grab. Well, it ain't no easy grab. They got teeth.
Talking during the movie is disruptive. Using your phone is distracting. Don't ruin the movie.
This Halo portion.
Alright guys, after my second viewing of Moana, I did manage to catch Bleed for This right after. I'm gonna give a quick review on it because I feel like there's not much to talk about this movie, so it's gonna be a fairly quick review. In this movie, we have Miles Teller portraying a quite wealthy and a boxer I've really never heard of. His name is Vinny Pazienza, and what basically happens in this movie is, unlike any other boxing movie, we actually have this boxer who got into a serious problem on a really bad car crash where he has to wear this, I don't know what it's called, I think it's called a base, I'm not sure, where they basically have to get nails and like put it in his head so he wouldn't move around or he wouldn't dislocate any bone, I'm not sure, something like that. And not just that, but he has a fair chance of never walking again, meaning that he can't really box ever again, and that becomes a big problem to him. Miles Teller is a great actor. He could be a douchebag in some movies sometimes, but in this movie he was more of a, I'm not sure how I'm gonna say this, but he was fairly not much of a douchebag, but I cared for his character a lot in this movie, and I think that he did a very good job being the boxer in this movie, and I think that he really made it look believable as if he was the boxer. And again, remember, this is based on a true story, so you need to make your performance as believable as you can, and I think that Miles Teller did that very good in this movie. Their main performance in this movie is Aaron Eckhart, who was recently in London Has Fallen and Sully this year, which Sully I think is still one of the best movies of the year, but he is basically Vinny Pazienza's trainer in this movie. Also had a fairly good performance, nothing that I could consider his best performance, but he really seemed to care for this role, and that's what really mattered for this movie. One thing I really like about this movie is it's rather behind the production than the movie, like the actual movie, but it's what really helped the movie be what it is right now, and is that they helped Miles Teller with, like, the person that trained Miles Teller with his boxing was the guy who trained Sugar Lee Leonard, the actual one, not the one from Hands of Stone, the movie. And he also trained Will Smith, who played Muhammad Ali in that, I believe it was a 2001 movie. But I really like that they hired this guy to train Miles Teller as this character, and that's just very nice. Aside from the recognizable actors of Miles Teller and Aaron Eckhart, we did have other performances from people that I do not know, but remember, just because they're people that I know doesn't mean that they don't have good performances. Of course, some performances rather felt not so good, but I think that the performance that we got for Miles Teller and Aaron Eckhart was already good enough. And again, they're really the only characters that this movie shines the spotlight on. Although, one problem I do have with this movie is the pacing. Pacing is sometimes rather off. Sometimes it's really fast, sometimes it's just slow. And I just think that the pacing is a big issue for this movie. A lot of scenes do feel very slow, but there are other scenes that you're just kind of like intrigued into, like scenes like where you have Miles Teller like trying to train with his base on and nobody really knows. I think that it's one of the better scenes in the movies, and of course the best scenes in these type of movies, the boxing scenes, which really keep you just your eyes glued on screen. But other than that, the pacing with the other scenes where they're just dealing with dramatic things and all that, it's just very slow. Which I do think it's a very well told movie. There are some things that felt like weren't told right or weren't really exactly explained well, because when this guy gets into the car crash, he has to wear this thing again, and then his girlfriend or wife, I don't know what she was exactly, was very creeped out by it, so she just decides to leave the house, and she's basically missing throughout the whole entire movie. Remember, this happens in the first 45 minutes of the movie, and she doesn't return till the last 15 minutes of the movie, so you really know what she was doing during the whole movie. I think that the movie should have explored that more, with especially with other characters that you are kind of sort of actually liking in the movie. And I think that that's a poor thing that they did with this movie. The boxing scenes in this movie are nothing impressive, nothing like Creed, where in Creed you're in the edge of your seat, you're just waiting for the next punch to be given. And same for Hands of Stone. The boxing scenes weren't all that exciting as they were in movies like Creed or Southpaw. And of course, this is much of a smaller movie, so again, I'm not surprised the boxing scenes weren't as exciting. And it's kind of weird because I'm comparing this movie a little bit to Hands of Stone, but yet in this movie, we actually have Roberto Duran, Hands of Stone, in this movie. And in fact, he's the very last boxing match that Vinny Pazienza has to fight in this movie. That fight, it just feels like the director just says, here, we have 25 minutes left for this movie, let's just quickly throw in this boxing scene and just make it just felt very rushed, and it didn't feel like they put that much time into it like Creed or Southpaw or Rocky or anything like that. So another big problem. Overall, Bleed for This is far from a perfect film. It's not breaking any new grounds. It's nothing all that special, but it did tell a story. I do appreciate that. If you enjoy movies like the Rocky franchise, Hands Stone, Raging Bull, if you like those type of movies, I doubt you'll love it, but you'll probably just really get a good kick out of this movie. And for that, I just can't really recommend, or at least recommend paying full price or matinee to see this movie in theaters. But I do think that this would make a perfectly good rental. So for that, in my rating system, I am going to say that you should really netbox Bleed for This. You know, when I say netbox, you could either watch it Netflix when it's out of Netflix, or just wait till it's on Redbox for $1.50 or the Blu-ray for $2. But other than that, you don't need to rush to see this movie in theaters. Again, I would rather wait. But I thought that this was a quite decent film. Anyways, have you guys seen Bleed for This? If you've seen it, please leave your thoughts below. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys for my next movie day. Bye.